It's Wednesday, August 10th, 2011. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
In this situation, we reached this point, Mr. I talked to me about my situation, and we talked about Jim. I think one of the things, too, that, first of all, Jim's done a very fine job for our organization. The club has been competitive year in and year out under Jim. He's a person, and you all can see how prepared he is, how we're in a position where every day you know that the best effort's going to be there. We play hard. So really, in my mind, he's done a very fine job. I think that we're in a situation, too, when we reach this point of the season, this dry approach. One thing that, and I do say, you don't want to be is a distraction. You don't want, and Jim never wants to be a distraction either. The focus is on the field. We both believe in that a great deal. We're making this announcement today. We don't want to make it tomorrow because we have a game tomorrow to be focused upon. I think it's a situation where for Jim, he's done a very, very good job. So, to me, what we tackle next year, I think that in my situation, being extended for 4 years, it puts some stability in the organization, and I'm hopeful that Jim not only signs for next year, but we're hopeful that he's along here for a long, long time. We thought at this time it was better just to tackle next season and sign for that. I think the most important part is that you don't want to risk losing people in your organization that are important members, and I think that it's a situation that, even though I feel, I think, very secure in that regard, I also understand that securities at times are part of anybody's life, and part of our business. And so, the closer you get to the end of people's contracts, which is October 31st, not that people want to leave your organization, and you're also know that they're signed through that time, but I'm also not naive to think that sometimes people from other organizations will sometimes approach your individuals about other opportunities. Really, when the season started, I didn't have any expectations because you really don't know what's going to take place. But I always thought, and if we play well, which I think that we had the capabilities of, I think we have a good club that normally they take care of, those things take care of themselves.
But the biggest news of the day, in bizarro world, known as the Detroit sports scene, is the Detroit Tigers handing out extensions like candy out of the blue. Just doling them out. They're on the front porch.
Crazy.
Like Miss Pagliarulo at Halloween. Woo! You didn't get enough of the Mike and Ike's. Take 7 bags. I am very, very confused. You know, and I put this on my Twitter, Mike Valenti 971, Terry Foster 971, of course, Dairy NBA. I had just said Tigers extensions without winning anything, pure Michigan. It makes zero sense. You're up 4 games. You play the Indians what seems like 7 or 8 times here, 12 times
12, bro.
coming up. Okay?
Including, I think it's the last 3 games of the season, too.
Right. Let me ask you a question. And this is a question for all Tiger fans. You know what? No, it isn't a question. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you something. What happens if, V-Mart is hurt? Hurt. Well, he's supposed to play this week. Let's say he re-aggravates himself. Let's say the unthinkable happens. Maglio breaking his ankle at the plate last year, but this year it's Peralta. Let's say all of a sudden you're tied for first place or a game back. You handing out extensions like candy? Because if that's the case, then I really don't have a lot of hope for this franchise. Dombrowski and Leyland were in the proving grounds. August and September, and more specifically, mid-August to September. Prove you deserve to stay. And instead, for whatever reason, this organization didn't want to wait. What was going to happen? Was Jim going to run out the door, pull a Jim Riggleman? Nah, I don't think so. He making LaRue some money. Was Dave Dombrowski going to walk? Who cares if he did? And second of all, the answer is no. the Tigers were about to enter the proving ground. And instead of just sticking to the plan, which would be, hey, Groovy deserved to stay, the offers are drawn up. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's not like Leyland's going to go and get $6 million. He already makes $4 million. It's not like Dombrowski's going to get double the money. The offers are drawn up. If they finish strong, they win the division, you lace them with extensions. But to do it now? Why? I challenge you. I dare you to pick up that phone and call this radio show and give me a viable reason why you do it now. I dare you. Because if in a week you're a game up, you giving those extensions out, people? How about in 2 weeks if you're a game out? Better yet, how about 6 full weeks from now and you're in a full-blown collapse like last year? You doing it?
The year before,
2 years ago, excuse me, 2 years ago.
How about every year?
Would you do it? Ask yourselves those questions as you dial those fun numbers to call us. Ask yourself, because I don't think a single person out there would call this station and go, oh, I'm extending them anyways. You two boobs don't know what you're doing. I've been clear-cut since day one. Make the playoffs, keep your job. Miss the playoffs, I'll help you back. To give the extensions now, not only are you only 4 games up, but to give the extensions now knowing the track record of what this team does in August and September under the leadership of Dombrowski and Leyland is nonsensical. It's really just ridiculous. And the best part of it, look, if you right now were 64 and 44, or 70 and 38, you did what you did in 06, right? You were 30 games up. You know what? Dole it out. Just dole it out. You're 12 games. It ain't going to happen. Dole it. But you're 4 games up. You've never gained any separation. Frankly, you're lucky to be 4 up. The Indians were ahead in every game on a road trip, 7th inning on. They go 3 and 4. Mind you, headed into the week, they had the bullpen mafia. Right now, you could easily be a game or 2 up. I look at it and go, okay, I like where we're at. I like the fact we're in first. I think we're going to get home. I think we're going to make it, but I ain't handing out extensions. I am absolutely baffled by it. Just baffled. I mean, it is the equivalent of you and I not winning a ratings book in 5 years, and all of a sudden you get laced with an extension. It just doesn't add up. 248-539-9797. You're right up now. Matt can follow suit in a moment if he feels like participating.
When you decide to take a dip in the pool of the leap of faith without having assurances that the final result will turn into a bed of roses, it can often tend to be a risky proposition. However, for Detroit Tigers owner Mike Ilitch, he has decided to take that jump into the deep end with Detroit Tigers manager Jim Leyland and general manager Dave Dombrowski in the form of contract extensions which both men received on Monday. Manager Jim Leyland has received some job security through the 2012 season, while his boss, general manager David Dombrowski, has inked a 4-year contract extension through 2015. Both contracts were set to expire at the conclusion of the season. However, with Detroit in first place in the American League Central Division with a record of 61 and 54, 3 games ahead of division rival Cleveland, owner Mike Ilitch decided that now was the appropriate time to take action regarding this issue. Dave has built a solid foundation for this organization and has assembled competitive teams that give us a chance to win year in and year out. We are confident in his continued leadership of the Detroit Tigers. I am pleased that Dave has agreed to continue to lead our organization. Owner Mike Ilitch said in a statement released by the team. Regarding manager Jim Leyland, Ilitch continued, I know that Jim shares our desire to deliver a winner. We are pleased to have him continue leading the Detroit Tigers on the field. The Tigers haven't won a division title since 1987, and they haven't participated in postseason play since 2006 during Leyland's first go-around with the team when they made it to the World Series as a wild card. However, the Tigers fell short of winning the ultimate prize, falling victim to the St. Louis Cardinals in 5 games. Mike Ilitch and Terry Foster of 97 Won the Ticket return to continue their debate on whether or not Leyland and Dombrowski were worthy of the vote of confidence they received from Ilitch on Monday.
All right, Mike, here's what makes this harebrained. 2 weeks ago, Mike Ilitch basically said Dombrowski and Leyland, they got to win. They got to win. Now, what happened in those last 2 weeks? Well, since the All-Star break, the Tigers have taken control of the division with a whopping 12-10 record. 12-10, they've taken over the division.
That's dominance.
So they're getting extensions based on the rest of the division being awful. Now, let's take this a step further. If the Tigers if Mike Ilitch comes out and says, you gotta win, okay? If the Tigers in the American League East, are we talking about an extension right now? I don't think so.
It's ludicrous.
If they're in the West, if they're in the division with Texas and California, would they be leading that division? I doubt it. To me, the reason the Tigers, Dombrowski and Leyland, are getting this extension is because they're in a bad division and they're being rewarded because Chicago, Cleveland, Kansas City, and Minnesota stink. That's not a reason to extend somebody. And here's the other thing. What's the damn hurry? Throw out that carrot. Hey, fellas, you win the division, we get extension. Why do you have to show a leap of faith now? Because this thing is not over. And you know what, Mike? Even you, during the 163-game season, even you said the season was over with a week to go. And guess what? It wasn't over. It sure as hell isn't over with now. And I know Cleveland, they stink and they're going to go away. But guess what? The Tigers have to play them 12 times. You're going to need at least a split with Cleveland to win this division.
I'm
baffled.
more. Absolutely baffled.
Doesn't make sense.
I want to hear from the people. It's their team. Let's go to Brian, who's going to kick things off today. Brian, how are you, and how was the weekend?
Oh, man, I'm good. The weekend was great. You and Terry sound like you guys are having an awesome start to the day with this news.
We're gonna have children in here, man. That's what's happening.
Listen, I normally agree, Mike, and fellow Spartans, with stuff that you say, but on this one, I think you're missing one thing. I know that it's been a roller coaster ride. I know the Tigers have a history of collapsing in the second half, but they have been able to do things this season so far that they don't normally do. They've been able to absorb a pitching rotation that has just been, it's been a crapshoot. The Leyland's been playing with that lineup all year long. So I think that both Leyland and Dombrowski, with the moves they've made, I think they've both shown that this year, I think what Ilitch is saying is, you've done enough this year to show me that, I believe in that we're going to make it to the postseason and that we're going to have success.
Let me ask you a question. If I talked to you the first week of September of 2009, and they were 7.5 up after sweeping the Rays, wouldn't you say the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that didn't work out so well.
But Brian,
I don't
the only
buy that.
question I have for Brian, why can't you wait until October?
This is why I say you can't wait, Terry. It's because this team, with the mix of the young guys, some of the vets are on the way out, some of the things, and the team knows their history since '06. I felt this was a move to solidify the Tigers from top to bottom so that it's not a distraction.
You know what, I got to tell you something. Terry and Matt will call me to the carpet if they disagree.
Okay.
I don't think players give a damn.
Correct.
They are collecting their check. They're out there playing for themselves. Do you honestly believe Dombrowski's going to go in there and it's going to be a win-one for the Gipper routine?
No.
Guys, I'm fighting for my job, and, Skipper is too. Look, this ain't the Lou Gehrig story. This ain't 1940. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. These players, I don't think they care.
Mike, I don't think they know. A bunch of them don't even know what's going on. They're just going out and playing ball.
In professional sports, you're judged by your bottom line and your body of work, wins and losses. It's as simple as that. And for Dave Dombrowski and Jim Leyland, it has certainly been a mixed bag of results, falling into short of achieving the most coveted prize in baseball in 2006. and going through some lean years together at the helm of one of the most storied franchises in all of baseball. However, Ilitch has shown where his loyalties lie, so we'll see if investing in both Dombrowski and Leyland was a wise investment for him to make. Kevin McShane, Sports Beat, reports.